Do you know that you're always manifesting? You are. Okay, let me explain. So think of a time when you were really afraid that something bad was going to happen and you were worrying and creating scenes in your imagination and having internal conversations of what if this happened, and you're dealing with a person or a situation, whatever it was, and you're reliving it and recreating it in your mind of the worst case scenario, and you're feeling the fear and you're feeling the anxiousness all around the situation before it even happens in your outside world, before you've even experienced it. And then, lo and behold, it ends up happening. Your biggest fear comes to pass and you aligned with it. It's almost like a self fulfilling prophecy. You're always manifesting. Now, think about this. If you can do it with fear and worst case scenarios, you can do it for the opposite, for the best case scenarios. And instead of living in the energy of fear and anxiousness, you can create in your imagination, starting in your imagination, in your mind, and approach it from what if the best thing happens? What if I get everything I want? What if everything aligns perfectly for me? And you create conversations, internal conversations around that. Your imagination creates scenes around getting exactly what you want and it working out perfectly for you, and you feeling the peace and the relief and the happiness and the joy because it worked out for you in such a way better than you expected. And that's the self fulfilling prophecy. It can work just the opposite. And fear is really just the opposite of faith, but you're putting your faith in negative experiences as opposed to positive experiences. It works the same way. It's really, really simple. First, you create it in your mind. It's an instant imagination. It's an instant manifestation, rather, because when you go in your imagination and you create a positive scenario around it, and you feel the peace and the comfort and the relief, and the knowing that it's solved and that it's working out for you and that it always works in your favor, then you're in the state of having it. And remember, we're always the cause. So if you're feeling good and joyful and positive, knowing that you're going to get the outcome you want, then your external world must reflect it. It will mirror it back. That's the lag time in your external world. First, the change starts within. No one to change but ourselves. The change starts within, changing our thoughts, our internal conversations, and the imaginings that are going in cycles in our mind. And it's practice. It's just a daily practice that instead of going this way in a negative way, let's think the opposite. Let's approach it from I get everything I want, and it always works out for me. And that's where affirmations and the mantras help, because it helps to stop that negative cycle that many of us are in by default. But as you practice more, approaching things from a positive, optimistic state, that it always turns out better than you expected, then that becomes second nature and you're able to transform your outside world. And how do you know there's change? First, you're going to notice it within because you feel better about it. You feel peace and calmness. And from that place, your outside world will reflect it. And you absolutely are worthy and are able to transform your entire life and align with all the desires of your heart. It starts in your mind and your imagination.